This is going to be one of the weirdest episodes I've ever recorded. Been doing this for about, 3 years, something like that. Well, at least version 2.0. This is not going to be a fun one. Hopefully I can, put a positive spin on this later on in the episode. But we'll see. We'll see, man. This is going to be a difficult one to talk about. We got to talk about no DCI for this season. And it sucks. And we need to go over a little bit in detail why this happened, how the decision came down, and most importantly, what's going to happen moving forward. Not just with individual units, but with the members and the activity as a whole. We'll see how this goes. We'll just see how it goes. So let's plow forward. Let's move ahead and see what's going forward. Let's see what's going to... I'm already stumbling over my words. Ignore me. With that being said, good morning again. Daniel Valdez again. It is a pleasure and honor to talk to you, whether you're on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/the Danpodcast, or whether you're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or any place you can get awesome podcasts like this one. Right, folks? Right? No? Okay, fine. Thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Let's just get to it. Breaking news came down 12 o'clock Central Time. Drum Corps International has officially decided to cancel the 2020 summer tour. Whether you knew about this in advance or whether it's, however you got your information, a lot of people in the activity already kind of knew this was coming down. And we were just waiting for the official announcement. Nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted this at all. From what I heard, everything that could have been done was done to try to get the season underway. And I kind of teased that not last week, but the week before. Everything was on the table, from cancel the season to, hey, let's just keep doing move-ins and let's play the wait and see game and what's going on, and we'll try to figure it out from there. At the end of the day, this is an unprecedented situation. And nobody really, first of all, we don't even know, we know so little about what's causing all of this stay at home, and we know so little about this virus. I mean, we know symptoms and whatnot, but we're still trying to figure out why it screws up some people and why it doesn't do the same thing to others. We're still trying to figure that out. Hell, the Olympics, I think for the first time ever, is going to be moved to another year. So when that happens, you got to kind of ask yourself, is it really going to be worth having or even attempting to do a summer tour? Even if it's compressed, or what they use, compressed schedule or limited schedule, or just on the weekends, or even at that point, there's still so much unknown. And it just came down to, hey, we need to just kind of cut the season. How did this happen? Well, obviously the whole coronavirus thing, with whole cities basically on lockdown. If you have essential business to conduct, whether you're working somewhere or whether you're trying to get groceries or gas or something, cool. Other than that, stay the F home. Don't risk it. Don't put other people at risk. Just chill out, sit there, do nothing. With that going on, schools keep saying, okay, we're going to come back. And, earlier in the month, schools were going, hey, we're going to come back. We'll be off. We'll give you an extra week of spring break. Then it was, okay, we need to do another 2 weeks. Now, okay, we might need to go through the end of April and go through maybe the entire semester of online learning or e-learning or distance learning or whatever you want to call it. With all that going on, many units had trouble securing housing not just for April camps or anything like that. Well, actually, I shouldn't say April camps, because April camps were basically everyone kind of agreed that going digital is probably the best option right now, because schools aren't open, and they're not going to open up a school and a gym and facilities to let 200 people in, where they come from all over the country and all over the world. They're not going to open that up just so that people can go and do drum corps stuff for a weekend. It wasn't going to happen. I'm talking about during the season. There were some units that lost housing sites for the season. Like, no place to go, no room at the inn. Sorry, you cannot. Our district is not allowing you to stay at our school in July. Well, what if everything got cleared up? What if the cure was a Snickers bar, king size Snickers bars packed with peanuts? How can that go wrong? Even then, you still got to convince an entire school district that, hey, everything's cool. We got people coming in from all over the world and all over different parts of the country. Nobody's going to get sick. We're going to be fine. They're going to be like, hell no. We can't have that. We can't risk it. So that was on the table. Housing sites, very difficult to secure. A lot of cancellations on that end. Another reason why this happened, there are some units that have businesses, high revenue businesses, like bingo halls. People are like, what? Bingo halls? Yes, bingo halls. Some of your favorite drum corps operate and run bingo halls that create a ton of revenue for the drum corps. Well, guess what? It's very difficult to play bingo in a hall with other people when the city is on lockdown. When you can't go anywhere. Unless you're going to go to the grocery store or go to the gas station, you're not supposed to be out. The suggested gathering size went from, like, just a few weeks, it went from, okay, you can have 250 people around. Okay, 200. Okay, maybe 100. Cut it down to 50. How about 10? How about just the people in your house? That's it. That's all we want you around. So now you have units that were not able to generate any revenue for the last month. To generate their big cash cow, their bingo halls, or their whatever businesses they're tied to. They weren't able to operate. And it's very difficult to run a drum corps when you don't have any revenue or income or whatever you want to call it. When you don't have any money coming in. Very difficult to happen. Very difficult to make that happen. And it's just tough. Those are basically your two main reasons. Housing sites were very difficult to secure, or they got canceled, and there was no revenue coming in from businesses that really provide a lot of revenue for drum corps. Not an easy decision, but when I say that, I mean, DCI had it in their press release, unanimous vote. Everyone was kind of on the same page, like, yeah, we should probably stop the bleeding as soon as we can. So there's that. Now, let's talk about what we need to do going forward. How is this going to affect next year's season? How is this going to affect the next couple of months? How is this going to affect all sorts of stuff? Because there's going to be some harsh realities that we're going to need to talk about right now. And here's one of the harsh realities. One of the harsh realities is that drum corps units need a season to survive. They need to have members' fees paid. They need to have shows to go compete at. And by the way, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of casual fans don't know this. Yeah, you're a drum corps, you go to a show, you get paid to go there. You get a little money. So they need that to survive. They need sponsorships. They need donors. They need business relationships outside the drum corps activity to survive. They need to manage their finances well. And there's all sorts of stuff. There's all sorts of financial and back end stuff that barely has anything to do with the activity. There's all sorts of stuff that has to happen on the back end for a drum corps to put on a summer tour, whether you're touring 15 shows or 25 shows. The harsh reality is that I have this feeling that some units are not going to be able to survive until 2021. Now, whether we find that out within the next couple of months or we find it out in the fall when marching camps and brass camps and all that, when the fall camps start, we may find it out then. I don't know. But I would anticipate that happening. Now, keep this in mind. Everybody's affected by this. Nobody is sitting around. It doesn't matter whether you're top 12 or bottom 12. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody's affected by this. And it would surprise you to learn who's affected by it. Some of your favorite drum corps are in a lot of trouble right now, financially, from the reasons I stated a couple of minutes ago. Do we need to go over the names? No, we don't need to go over the names. It doesn't matter. Fact of the matter is, units and the activity as a whole are in trouble because there's no season. What's another harsh reality? And I wouldn't even say it's harsh. I would say it's, here's another reality. Let's just drop the harsh for now. Another reality is that how different units handle the next couple of months, how they handle the next couple of weeks, is going to be a part of their legacy forever. We talk about amazing brass performances and great percussion ensembles and wonderful guard design and performances. How drum corps handle their particular situation, whether they refund fees, whether they're transparent about their finances, transparency in how they came to the decision of why they agree with canceling the season. It's going to speak to their legacy forever. I mentioned this 2 shows ago. People are going to remember who cooperated and who did not cooperate. And there have been many press releases, and I don't necessarily need to go all over them because every unit is in charge of their own public relations. However they want to talk about it, however they want to spin it, or whatever, that is their discretion. That's however they want to handle it. And it's very difficult. It's a very difficult situation. A lot of big decisions were made today. Not just canceling the season. Staff layoffs. Furloughs. Telling people, hey, I either need to eliminate your job immediately, because whenever you're running a company or a nonprofit, one of the quickest ways to free up capital, actual money, is to cut salaries, cut people. And that's not an easy decision to make, because some of these people have been around with the organization for a long time, and they've never had to deal with anything like this. And then all of a sudden this happens. I had a friend tell me the other day, a lot of people in the activity are worried if they're going to have careers after this week. And that really made me stop and think of how devastating this is. Now, keep in mind, I'm not angry about the decision. I'm not. This was the right decision. This is absolutely the right thing to do. Just because there's so much unknown and, a decision had to be made sooner than later. But this is going to be so impactful, not just on the members, but on the units as well, on people's lives, on people's, their jobs. We're already seeing that outside the activity. All you got to do is turn on a news channel. How are different corps going to handle this? Cavaliers have already said, hey, if we gave you a 2020 contract, we'll see you in 2021. No need to re-audition. That's a example of an organization that is going to do absolutely everything they possibly can to keep its members from revolting or being too angry at them or whatever. So that's an example of good stuff there. There are other organizations that are saying, hey, we're going to try to create some sort of virtual experience this season. We're going to try to create some sort of experience for you. And however you want to take that, that's on you. Some people are like, especially parents of younger kids, they're going, I can understand it. Some parents of members that were already contracted that paid their fees in full are going, I need my money back now. Not because I'm angry at DCI, not because I'm angry at your organization. I'm not working right now. Some parents are going like that. Hey, I got furloughed. My husband got furloughed. We need that money now. Whether my son comes back to your organization, that's the least of my worries right now. Yes, my son or daughter is heartbroken. But we're trying to survive here. Just like your drum corps is trying to survive. So how are units going to handle refunds? There's some units that said, hey, we would like for that money to stay with the organization because we need it to survive on our own, and we need it so that, if your son or daughter decides to come back and audition with us and get contracted for the 2021 season, we need to make sure that there is a home for them to go to. But we understand the situation. We understand that people aren't working. We understand that people need money now more than ever. So if you want to start your refund, go ahead and click this link. It's a very difficult situation for a drum corps. You got two sides here. I need to be able to save my organization, but I need to do the right thing and possibly refund entire fees. And that's a difficult thing for a drum corps to do. You read those contracts, read a contract for a contracted member for a drum corps. Like no refunds, no refunds whatsoever. There better be something really, really wrong for us to give you back those member fees, because those member fees are used to pay for stuff. It's already budgeted out. So giving up all that money in basically one fell swoop it's difficult financially, it's difficult emotionally. The whole thing just sucks. The whole thing is very, very, very difficult. Shortened season was talked about, but it just wasn't in the books. It just couldn't happen. There's too much unknown. This was the right decision. It was a difficult decision. It sucks. A lot of members are hurting right now. A lot of members are hurting. And guess what? The staff members are hurting too. I've seen it all day today. Staff members are completely devastated by this. Because they want to see you at the camps. They want to see you succeed. They want to see you at Lucas Oil Stadium. The fans are crushed too. Me being a fan, never marched, but diehard fan for 20 years. We're all devastated. We're all crushed. What's it going to look like moving forward? Hopefully, this activity can survive. Hopefully this activity can survive so that we're back here in 2021. There's a lot of stuff that needs to go on behind the scenes. There's bus contracts to talk. There's all sorts of contracts and vendors and all sorts of sponsorships. There's all sorts of stuff that needs to get worked out. And that's going to happen within the next weeks and months and whatnot. But this is going to have a long-lasting impact, folks. It's going to cause some organizations to, I think, a couple of organizations you're not going to see in 2021. Just because they're not going to be able to financially survive this. There are going to be some organizations that are going to probably have to rethink their entire tour model. Do we really need to go to 25 shows this year? How much money can we save if we break it down to 20 or 15? This is a wake-up. This whole virus thing is a wake-up call for so many people. Whether, hey, I need to rethink how I'm living my life. Or whether, hey, we need to rethink how we're doing the summer tour model. Could that be something that's slimmed down? Or, hey, I got to get rid of staff. I got to get rid of admins. I have to tell somebody who's been with my organization for 15, 20 years that I can't keep them on anymore. Especially now. Especially when there's so many people out of work in the world, and especially in the United States. There's so many people that aren't working right now because we can't go anywhere because of the whole virus thing. Can the DCI can drum corps survive? Time will tell. Time will tell. Are individual units going to be able to survive? Some of them, yes. But you also have to take into account that those sponsorships and those donors, that's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask from someone who may have been furloughed. To ask of parents who've been furloughed and lost their job or their businesses had to close. That's a lot to ask of people. It is. And you see it you're seeing it on these press releases from the drum corps units. Hey, we need your help. It's such a difficult thing to ask for people that are hurting financially right now. This is not fun. A lot of people are hurting. I feel for the members too. For you DCI members, for you drum corps members, I love watching you all perform every summer. I went to my first drum corps contest in 2001, and to be honest with you, I didn't even want to go. I was one of the drum majors at my high school. A bunch of the leadership got together like, hey, we're going to buy a block of tickets like on the 15-yard line. Side 2, 15-yard line. I remember exactly where I was sitting. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go. And I was just getting into the activity. And I went, and I had the time of my life. Even though I was sitting on side 2 at the 15-yard line, I had the time of my life. One of the moments that changed me as a person. One drum corps show in the Alamo Dome, and I was hooked. Went home, tried to download MP3s and watch videos, and I tried to immerse myself in it. And I've gone to at least one drum corps contest every year after that. Almost every year after that. There were 1 or 2 years where I couldn't go because of work stuff. But I love this activity. As a fan, I love this activity. I look forward to this every year. I look forward to crunching numbers. I look forward to watching shows develop from move-ins to championships. One of my apartments I lived in San Antonio was right down the street from Blossom Athletic Center. Right down the street. I used to jog from my apartment to Blossom Athletic Center and watch the Crossmen rehearse. I didn't even take a car. I would just jog in there. I would run into the stadium like I was running a marathon in the Olympics or something. I love just watching rehearsal. I love studying rehearsal technique and seeing how disciplined these members were. I love traveling to other cities and watching drum corps shows there. On a whim, a couple of years ago, I went to the Broken Arrow show. I was living in Plano. And I just decided I'm going to sit. My seat was like on the 5-yard line because I bought tickets at the last minute. I was like, I got to go. I got to go up there. I got to see these shows. I remember in 2001, they used to do this thing at the big shows where they'd have a like a featured group, like a featured unit. And you could show up a couple of hours before the show, and they would play tunes in the dome or the stadium or wherever it was being held. And then they had an opportunity where kids could march with the corps. It was kind of like what Carolina Crown does at the DCI Muncie show, like the corps in residence or whatever. It was kind of like that, but you would like do fundamentals with the corps. My first drum corps show in 2001, it was at the Alamo Dome Southwestern Championships. This is back when they only had like 8 or 10 corps that were invited there. And the Blue Devils were the featured corps for that event. So, of course, I showed up, and they're my favorite. They're my favorite unit. They're from my favorite drum corps, hands down. So I was like, I'm going to go early, and I'm going to go listen to them play. And I got to do fundamentals with the blue. I was right next to a baritone player. I was like, this is freaking awesome. Now, keep in mind, I'm a double reed player. I was an oboe player. So for me to stand next to a giant brass player carrying a giant Buick in their hands, I was inspired. I was in awe. It was awesome. I remember those moments because that activity gave me those moments. I made so many friends, so many lifelong lasting relationships with people that I've met through this activity, and I didn't even march. This activity's given me so much, not just the marching arts, but drum corps as well. So many great memories. And it pains me to know that there are members that are not going to get to experience that this summer. This is such a unique situation. My suggestion to everyone is reach out to as many members as possible. Just let them know that you're there for them, because a lot of them are heartbroken, a lot of them are devastated, a lot of them are angry, they're frustrated, they're confused, there are a million emotions going through their head and their heart right now. I always talked about the marching field being a respite for me, a sanctuary for me. When things weren't going well at home, or my parents were getting on my case when I didn't think it was fair, that rehearsal time, those performances, that was my therapy. That was my time to get it all out. And I know for a fact that a lot of members feel the same way about the marching field. And they're thinking, what the hell am I going to do now? Because I'm not going to get that this summer. Again, it's a very difficult situation. Nobody wanted this to happen. But to save the activity, it had to be shut down for a season. I really hope I'm wrong about my prediction that there's some units that may not survive. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right on that. But with the way finances are done in this activity, it's going to be very challenging for people. Reach out to those members. Reach out to as many people as you possibly can. just as a general rule of thumb, like, that's just being a good person. When you know somebody's going through tough times, whether it's financially or emotionally, just reach out to them. Just let them know you care. Being nice to people's free. And that's really all I have. We're going to see how this plays out. I hope you all are well. I hope you all are safe. I was really looking forward to covering the activity this season, but with Drum Corps being canceled, I don't know. I'll figure something else out. I've got a decent brain in my head. Ignore me. Anyways, that's all I really have. Just keep checking in with members, and if anything else comes down, I'll jump on the horn and talk about it. But that's kind of where we are right now. The season's done before it even got started, and time is going to tell on how units handle this and whether the activity can survive this. I really, really hope so. I really, really hope so, because I'm itching to hear some brass and percussion and watch some guard. We'll see how it goes, folks. Until then, I'm out of here. I will talk to you next week, and y'all stay safe. Please be safe out there. And again, thank you all so much for your support and love, and I'm so appreciative of you. Thanks for listening. Take care. Adios. Bye-bye.